Hello, beautiful people. I have a wonderful selection of Aesop's fables for you today. So sit back, relax, and if you enjoy this audiobook, please do like and subscribe to share these terrific tales with others. Story 1. The Ass and His Masters. An ass belonging to an herb seller who gave him too little food and too much work made a petition to Jupiter to be released from his present service and provided with another master. Jupiter, after warning him that he would repent his request, caused him to be sold to a tile-maker. Shortly afterwards, finding that he had heavier loads to carry and harder work in the brick field, he petitioned for another change of master. Jupiter, telling him that it would be the last time that he could grant his request, ordained that he be sold to a tanner. The ass found that he had fallen into worse hands, and noting his master's occupation, said, groaning, "It would have been better for me to have been either starved by the one or to have been overworked by the other of my former masters, than to have been bought by my present owner, who will even after I am dead tan my hide and make me useful to him. He that finds discontentment in one place is not likely to find happiness in another." Story 2. The Bald Man and the Fly. A fly bit the bare head of a bald man who, endeavouring to destroy it, gave himself a heavy slap. Escaping, the fly said mockingly, "You who have wished to revenge, even with death, the prick of a tiny insect, see what you have done to yourself to add insult to injury." The bald man replied, "I can easily make peace with myself, because I know there was no intention to hurt. But you, an ill-favoured and contemptible insect who delights in sucking human blood, I wish that I could have killed you even if I had incurred a heavier penalty." There was soon to learn that revenge will always hurt the avenger. Story 3. The Lion's Share. The lion went once a-hunting along with the fox, the jackal and the wolf. They hunted and they hunted till at last they surprised a stag and soon took its life. Then came the question how the spoil should be divided. "Quarter me this stag," roared the lion, so the other animals skinned it and cut it into 4 parts. Then the lion took his stand in front of the carcass and pronounced judgment. "The first quarter is for me in my capacity as king of beasts. The second is mine as arbiter. Another share comes to me for my part in the chase. And as for the 4th quarter, well, as for that, I should like to see which of you will dare to lay a paw upon it." "Unfair," grumbled the fox as he walked away with his tail between his legs. He spoke in a low growl. "You may share the labours of the great, but you will never share their spoils." Story 4. The Milkmaid and Her Pail. Patty the milkmaid was going to market carrying her milk in a pail on her head. As she went along, she began calculating what she would do with the money she would get for the milk. "I'll buy some fowls from Farmer Brown," said she, "and they will lay eggs each morning, which I will sell to the parson's wife. With the money that I get from the sale of these eggs, I'll buy myself a new dimity frock and a chip hat, and when I go to market won't all the young men come up and speak to me? Polly Shaw will be that jealous, but I don't care. I shall just look at her and toss my head like this." As she spoke, she tossed her head back, the pail fell off it, and all the milk was spilt. So she had to go home and tell her mother what had occurred. "Oh, my child," said the mother, "do not count your chickens before they are hatched." Story 5. The Fox Who Had Lost His Tail. A fox caught in a trap escaped, but in so doing lost his tail. Thereafter, feeling his life a burden from the shame and ridicule to which he was exposed, he schemed to convince all the other foxes that being tailless was much more attractive, thus making up for his own deprivation. He assembled a good many foxes and publicly advised them to cut off their tails, saying that they would not only look much better without them, but that they would get rid of the weight of the brush, which was a very great inconvenience. One of them, interrupting him, said, "If you had not yourself lost your tail, my friend, you would not thus counsel us." Story 6. The Hare with Many Friends. A hare was very popular with the other beasts who all claimed to be her friends, but one day she heard the hounds approaching and hoped to escape them by the aid of her many friends. So she went to the horse and asked him to carry her away from the hounds on his back, but he declined, stating that he had important work to do for his master. He felt sure, he said, that all her other friends would come to her assistance. She then applied to the bull and hoped that he would repel the hounds with his horns. The bull replied, "I am very sorry, but I have an appointment with a lady, but I feel sure that our friend the goat will do what you want." The goat, however, feared that his back might do her some harm if he took her upon it. The ram, he felt sure, was the proper friend to apply to. So she went to the ram and told him the case. The ram replied, "Another time, my dear friend. I do not like to interfere on the present occasion, as hounds have been known to eat sheep as well as hares." The hare then applied as a last hope to the calf, who regretted that he was unable to help her, as he did not like to take the responsibility upon himself, as so many older persons than himself had declined the task. By this time the hounds were quite near, and the hare took to her heels and luckily escaped after having learned the sad lesson that he that has many friends has no friends. Story 7. The Old Woman and the Wine Jar. An old woman found an empty jar which had lately been full of prime old wine and which still retained the fragrant smell of its former contents. She greedily placed it several times to her nose, and drawing it backwards and forwards said, "Oh, most delicious, how nice must the wine itself have been when it leaves behind in the very vessel which contained it so sweet a perfume." Just like a good wine, the memory of a good deed lives on. Story 8. The Shepherd's Boy and the Wolf. A shepherd boy who watched a flock of sheep near a village called the villagers into action 3 or 4 times by crying out, "Wolf! Wolf!" and when his neighbours came to help him, laughed at them for their pains. The wolf, however, did truly come at last. The shepherd boy, now terribly scared, shouted out in an agony of terror, "Wolf! Wolf!" but nobody came. "Pray, do come and help me. The wolf is killing the sheep." But no one paid any heed to his cries, nor rendered any assistance. The wolf, having nothing to fear, at his leisure lacerated and destroyed the whole flock. The boy learned a tough lesson that there is no believing a liar even when he speaks the truth. Story 9. The Vixen and the Lioness. A vixen who was taking her babies out for an airing one balmy morning came across a lioness with her cub in arms. "Why such airs, haughty dame, over one solitary cub?" sneered the vixen. "Look at my healthy and numerous litter here, and imagine, if you are able, how a proud mother should feel." The lioness gave her a squelching look, and lifting up her nose walked away, saying calmly, "Yes, just look at that beautiful collection. What are they, foxes? I've only one, but remember, that one is a lion, and quality is better than quantity." Story 10. The Monkeys and Their Mother. The monkey, it is said, often has 2 young ones at each birth. The mother will coddle one and nurtures it with the greatest affection and care, but hates and neglects the other. It happened once that the young one which was caressed and loved was smothered by the too great an affection of the mother, while the despised one who was never nurtured reared itself in spite of the neglect to which it was exposed. Sadly proving, the best intentions will not always ensure success. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the story, and if you did, please like, subscribe or comment to share this video with others. If you need a little more help getting to sleep, check out my other stories or my relaxing insomnia relief sleep videos. I hope you have sweet dreams, and don't forget to come back soon for another terrific tale.